As you may or may not know, I'm quite a fan of digital gadgets, and we've had a couple of dash cams in the front of our van during our French trip. However, Sammy chewed through the wire on one, so that was that one out. And then on another hour alone, he managed to actually bite his way through one of our dash cams, unfortunately, which put an end to that one. So we're down to one. And the thing is about this particular type of dash cam, and it's very similar to the other one I've got, is they are bargain ones. Bargain ones from Amazon that you pay about £40 for. Probably good enough for an insurance claim or something like that, but not much good for vlogging or for detail, really, for picking out any detail or nighttime vision. And they are only forward facing. So there's nothing looking back into the cab, which is why we had the second dash cam put in. And there's also nothing recording out the back window there either. They hold no charge, so as soon as the car is off, they die within about 4 seconds too. So I haven't been very high end for a long time. Somebody saw our plate, and I've got the lucky position of playing with this fella. I can't wait to give this a go, and alongside my cheap dash cam in the front there at the moment, we'll be able to do some quite good comparisons over the next couple of days, during the day, during the night, and then I'll also, once I've got a hang of the features, I'll be able to tell you a bit more about it. Looks simple enough. I think that's my little bullet camera from the back. Here's a quick comparison for you. Cheap camera, professional camera. That's my long cable and another cable for the dash cam. My mount and 12-volt plug-in. I needed one of these. Fantastic, this looks like a trim tool. So a non-lethal version of whatever I was using before, like a knife. You can use this to lever off some of the plastic coverings to tuck the cables behind. So this looks like the long cable that will feed the little camera out the back. Might just make someone think twice. Right, so let's take a look at what you get. Here's the camera itself. There's the front camera, and if we flip it over, we've got the 3.19 inch IPS screen and the cabin camera, which also has infrared light for those darker moments. We've got on the mounting point here, if I connect this, on the mounting point here, which goes on the windscreen, you've got the charging point there, which is for this cable to run around your trim down to your cigarette lighter, I guess. Underneath you've got the infrared, which I think is for an optional remote control. You've got your serial number, should you wish to register it somewhere, the microphone, and then these 4 buttons here. I'll go through each one of these buttons in turn. And let's not forget, we've also got this button on the side, which is our power on and off. But when you're in the recording interface, a short press will turn on the emergency recording and snapshot. And when you're in the file section, a short press will pop up the menu for deleting files. First off, we've got this button here with a little camera on it. In the recording screen, a short press will turn the camera on or pause the recording. When you're in the menu settings, a short press will be the confirm option, so a bit like enter. And then in the playback, you can use this to pause or play your playback video. Next along, we've got the little up arrow. Maybe you can see that. We've got up and down, and then there's a hamburger style menu on the end there. So with the up arrow, when you're recording, a short press of this will switch the window. In the menu settings and file browsing screen, a short press will select the previous optional file, and a long press will cause it to scroll. And then when playing back video, a short press on this will play it at 2-speed or 4-speed. For our down arrow button, during recording, a short press on this will turn on or off the microphone, and a long press on this will enter the parking mode. And similarly with this button here, when you're in the file section and you're looking at files, a short press on it will nudge along, and a long press on it will cause it to scroll. And when you're in playback mode, a short press will pop up a menu for deleting files, just like this other button. And our last menu, the one with a hamburger and a Wi-Fi above it, well, that almost seems obvious. During recording, a long press will turn on or off the Wi-Fi, and when you're in the menu setting and file browsing interface, a short press will return to the previous interface. And that's just about it. Thankfully, all the basic instructions are here as well as in your booklet. First off, I think we're going to try and mount this. I'm just going to decide now whereabouts we want to put this. Obviously, you can't leave this up on your screen for an MOT, but it does come off quite easily. There is a strong magnetic catch there, so it won't fall off very easily. So I'm in the front now and I'm just thinking about where to place it. I was looking at how close we can go, but obviously with this rear view camera, I've got this large monitor which covers our reverse camera as well, our top reverse camera. We actually have a bottom reverse camera that comes up on our dash here too. So actually this has got to be mounted a little bit lower, but because I can't tell what the frame is like on this camera pointing back into the cabin, I'm going to power it up and perhaps record a little bit of footage, and then I can see, I can make some sort of mark. I've given the windscreen a bit of a clean because it was a bit dirty from our trip still. There's also advice online about the mixture between sky and ground, and they sort of say 60% sky, 40% ground, but actually I've found in my own personal use, I prefer to cut out the sky, because unless you're expecting something to fall out of the sky, or you want to try and capture aliens or something, I'm more interested in what's going to hit the bonnet or what's on the road in front of me. And so I tend to sort of use less sky actually, and more of the road, more of the bonnet. I'll get on with just working out exactly where this is going to go, and then we'll clean it up, get it on, and work out how we're going to take the trim off and get this plugged into the 12-volt socket around here. It'd help if I put the keys in, wouldn't it? Thinking there's no power. Aha, the dash cam is alive. So we've got a bit of a setup screen. It's just come on. I've got to choose English. I'm not sure if this is... It's not touchscreen, is it? Of course, no. I have to use the buttons underneath. Now, nice touch. They've put on the screen the options for the buttons, which you can't see underneath. So that should be my OK. London time, yes, please. Date format, let's do the English. I'll just quickly set the time. Lunchtime. Oh, this is all very easy. Frequency, 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz. I'm going to go for 60 because the higher the frequency, I guess the better quality it will be. And speed unit, miles per hour. Let's do the old school miles per hour. Wi-Fi mode. Now this I'm not sure on. I'm assuming you can change this later on, but it's got a 5G or 2.4G. We'll go for OK on 5G. And then it's asking to format the SD card, which I haven't put in yet. But I've also got my first glimpse of the quality of the screen. Now it's an odd view to start off with because it's a sort of ultra wide screen. But this clarity is pretty good considering I'm pointing it straight into the sun. So I'm looking at about halfway down the screen for me, just because I've got this great big thing in the way. Right, let's clean that up and get that stuck on. Yeah. Okay, that's not drying off as I thought it might do. Well, that'll teach me to rush, won't it? So I figured out a lot of stuff, except I didn't read the next page, which said that the little electrostatic plastic shields that come with it are actually what's supposed to go on the screen first, and then you use the wipes on top of the electrostatic mounts. I'm already onto my second pad if I manage to get this back off. I mean, it's so stuck on, I feel like just leaving it. I'll go and have a cup of tea and think about it. The only problem is I don't have a second 12-volt socket. Or maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'll figure it out. We've got these. Now I thought these were kind of like screen protectors. No, they're not. They are, as described as, electrostatic stickers. And there's a number sticker on both sides. We want to peel off. Number 14 says, please peel this mask off before application. We're going to put that exactly where we want the camera, and then we'll peel the second side off and then mount the camera on the windscreen. So we'll peel off side number 1 and do our best to get this level. Naturally, it's full of bubbles. A little debit card or credit card would help push out. Our little trim tool. That's getting a couple more out. Peel side 2 off, slap bang in the middle. I think I'm gonna just push on this for another 10 seconds. Hey, gosh, that sun is lovely. 9, 10. We'll let that sort of adhere and get used to its new home on our windscreen. I've got the old one mounted here because I'm gonna run a test side by side. So we're gonna take Stampy out for a quick run, round the houses and maybe up the motorway, check out the quality, and then we'll do the same at night time and see what that's like. What we'll actually have in the end is 2 cables running up to our trim. What we're going to do is I will plug this in just so we can actually have some sort of reverse. And run this cable through to the reverse camera and point at something interesting just so we can see what it looks like on screen. Right, just before we go, I've pinched the SD card from another camera, and it's not obvious from the instructions how you get behind this, but really it's as simple as just getting your nail behind it. And there we are. There's the SD slot, and you've got a reset button, and obviously the button that turns it on and off. Now they should only go in one way round. You just need a nail to help click it in. There we go. That springs back into place. That's ready to go. Right, well, I've uncoiled our 6 metre cable with the rear view camera on, and although technically it reaches the back, I can't leave it quite like this. So that's the length of the van without any twists or turns. It's not going to work, is it? So I probably need about another, on the conservative side, maybe another 5 metre cable. And then if we mount it like here, we'll have a fairly good view of what's immediately behind us, which is in fact what we're most interested in, because obviously if we want to record the second or two before impact, that's where we want to be looking. Apologies to all the perfectionists out there. I'm rigging this up temporarily just so we can see what the quality's like and what kind of field of view we've got. This might be painful to watch. Yep, I've gone down the sellotape route. Well, let's hope that stays in place as we do our little test circuit. We're going to do it now during daylight, and then we're going to do it later on in the evening, all being well. Let's ride. Phew, still works. It's been parked up a little bit. SD card error. Okay, might need formatting. Let's do that. Okay, so formatting the card worked, and we're going to go and do our test drive. Just playing with the menu, this thing is starting to blow my mind. The voice controls on it, amazing. Took me a couple of goes to get it right, but I'll show you those in a minute. Let's get this daytime test drive in. As first tries go, that was pretty cool. Even the voice commands, the ones I could remember, worked. So front camera, rear camera. It was just the exit back to home page. I couldn't seem to, home page, home screen, exit, return to, couldn't quite get it. I've got to look those up again, but seriously impressed. Right, it's been a couple of days since I last recorded because I've been waiting for this to arrive. Right, welcome to the dash. I have with me an unlicensed trim tool which came with the dash cam. So the idea being very simply that I use the USB spare lead that came out the back of my Toto in-car entertainment system, which installation video you can see elsewhere on the channel. And we had the lead come through. I brought it through to the glove box because I thought we could do sort of phone charging inside the glove box out of sight while we're outside of the van or something. And what I'm thinking of doing is having, so if I grab this socket, this bit of kit, by the way, this adapter costs about £5 online, clips in there, and then I'm going to use the 12-volt socket there and run this cable around the top of the roof. So the reason I want to do that is because even though I do have a 12-volt socket here in the front next to my multi-USB, another installation upgrade video you can check out on my channel, is because it's a bit ugly up front. Although the 12-volt socket does come with an additional USB charging point here, which is quite useful, I'd kind of like the cable not to be visible, and ultimately it's got to come out somewhere and then go into this socket. So even if I've hidden it all the way around the window, it's going to pop out somewhere ugly down here. And what I think I can do is run it round this trim, which I'm fairly familiar with, and in through the side of the glove box, he says, yeah, it might be tricky, into the glove box area, connect it in there, and then it's well hidden from view all the way around. I'm going to take some trim off and see if we can do this quite quickly. Oh no, I forgot you can't get a drone in here. Oh, you can do it by hand. Slightly better than the children's cutlery that I was using. Okay. Hang on to your screws. If I sound like an amateur, it's because I am. So, this entry space for the power cable I want to use again, as long as I can feel my way around there. I'm going in there. So there's our hole in the back of the glove box tray. The cable is going to go down behind there. Here's my cable. As you can see, what I've done with previously with the cable is you run it over the back of this one and across there where it can exit and then come up through this trim, up there, across the roof, down to the camera. I think what you've got to be careful of is that there's some sharp bits of plastic around this. I don't want to skin or damage the wire. We're getting there. So there's our 12-volt plug. That's going to go into this adapter and into this USB power socket. Great. Okay. Not sure if that's not liking that socket. Okay, so it's plugged in, it's powered up, but it did go off and then come on, then go off and then come on. But it's on now. I'm thinking that's all good. So we'll get the trim back on. We've got our front view, we've got our inside cab view, and then all we've got to do is get some extra cabling in the post to take this cable somehow around this cab and down towards the back shelves where the rear camera was temporarily mounted. That's going to be a whole other can of worms. That's it, we've got power. Just need the fantastic rear camera to work, and then I can go through all the features. Like the voice control of this Vantrue Nexus 4 Pro. To be honest, it's got so many more features than I'm ever going to be an expert in, but I'll do my best to show you what it can do and why it's worth the money. It comes with a warranty, it comes with a 12-month warranty. If you register online, they can extend that to 18 months. The cool features, one thing I haven't got unfortunately is a sort of permanent power to it, so it's working off of the ignition at the moment. You do need a fixed power supply for some of the features to work. So some of the features like the parking mode or probably collision detection or something when you're not in the van, the camera's not going to turn itself on unless it's got some sort of power. I don't have that, but you can buy a kit, I think, from the same Vantrue supplier. Without that, we'll just look at the cool things it does anyway. So one thing my cheap cameras have never had is voice commands. Show rear camera, show front camera, inside video only. There I am with my wobbly camera. Back to homepage. There we go. And like with all modern tech, when you get this camera, you also get instructions to download an app. So I've got that on my phone now. That's really useful because in the past, for the vlogging side of things, we would have to take the HD card out and trundle it through the house to the computer. With the app, you can access the files on the DASHCAM in real time, change some of the settings and so forth. So I'll show you some of the app stuff now. So there we go, we can switch. Oh, no, it's me talking. Hi. So you can switch through using the app. You can switch through the different camera views using the little icon there for camera. There's a Sharky on the table. That'd be our rear view camera. There's the front, and there's the in-cab stuff. You can go to gallery, give it permission to go in. Probably not going to have much more than our driveway. There we go. Lots of what I've been doing this morning. So you can look through your videos, and then if you need to, you can download those directly onto your phone. Events covers different side of things because of the power button on the side that can also lock videos. If you want to keep one of the things to stop the video looping, you'll find those in some of these things. And obviously it takes photos too. And there's our real-time playback. Little icon in the corner can be pressed, and there we go. Now we've got a widescreen version of what we're looking at. So inside the app you can see there's a whole host of settings and dials you can tweak. Wow, yeah, really good. Voice control, so we can go over the voice control stuff. Device sound, different warnings. You've also got, when you download videos from here, the video will come with the GPS data too, and then you can view that inside the map. So let's see if I can find actually a normal video. Try and find something that isn't, it's split by day, great. So 77, let's try this inside video shot. So there's me driving, let's see. Click the download button, yes please. Well, that didn't take any time at all, did it? Let's go to local, let's have a look at the video. So there we go. For some reason the mapping isn't loading in the background, but you can see in real time the position you are on the map. Interesting. That would have helped loads in France, really would. So there you go. If you did go for a wander and you weren't really sure about where you were going, no worries. Your Nexus Pro is going to be recording it for you, and you can check it out when you get back. So as you can see, it's a great app. There's lots of features there if you want to spend the time getting into all of those. I'm a bit too busy to worry about settings on most things. I'm a set and forget kind of guy. So if I'm happy with how this is, or I need to tweak one or two things, it's done, and I don't really want to worry about it again. My biggest worry right now is doing something with this 6 meters of cabling. We're going to need to think about this, because if I pick the wrong side, I could spend a lot of time pulling stuff apart only for it to never get there. Okay, so after about 2 hours of thinking and staring at the van and wandering around, I think I've got a route from the front to the back. It's going to involve taking some panels off, maybe drilling 1 or 2 holes. Let me show you what I'm thinking. So first off, we'll come off the top of the camera and take a route round the side of the trim here, right up to this rear trim. And then I discovered there was a previous hole that someone had cut. So we'll come through there, take the wire up to the top of the wardrobe. I did consider running over the top of here, but unfortunately the black cable is just visible, and I think if I can be more tidy, I'd prefer it. So we'll come through the top of the cabinet, like this cable here, into there. We'll remove a couple of these so we can thread through into this cupboard here. This is a cable tray, so we'll either pick this up or we'll just run off the back of it. This runs through here, that also runs through here, but then it stops, I think. Yes, it goes no further. So like this cable will pop out, and then where we drilled the solar panel charging cables to go through, we can take up that hole through there. Let's create a similar hole down here. That takes us through this cupboard to this corner. We can wrap it neatly around here, maybe through a hole here, run a cable along here. So although I can quite easily get to this cupboard, I say quite easily, we'll see how it goes, the power is on the right hand side. It could be that I can just flip this so the power cable is on the correct side here. Okay, so sadly, as expected, the rear camera, when you look at the front dash cam, is actually upside down. So I'm going to go into the settings to see if I can flip it. So here we are inside the app. As you can see, my rear view is upside down. So let's stop it recording for a moment because you can't access the settings while it's doing that. Let's see if we can find something in the settings here. Don't need a mirror. Rotate. Let's try that. So rear view. And if we skip back to our live preview, Fantastic. That means we can put the power cable on the left hand side, meaning one less hole to drill. Okay, let's start threading it in and see where we get to. This is a killer on the arms. Woo! That makes your arms burn. Well, if you've got my arms, that is. Okay, now we're into this back section here. What we should be able to do is pick up the hole that's been drilled by someone previously above. We'll connect that up, pull it up from the other side, and then we've got to make a decision about a hole in the wardrobe. Shut up, Dal, get on with it. Okay, right, well, I'm going to get on with it then, aren't I? Do you know what? I love this. The old wire coat hanger. Let's try moving this. Aha, and there we have it. So, great, so we can now attach one end of this to the rodding kit and pull that through. Okay, so we've got our cable up on the top of the bed up there. For the next stage, I'm going to drill into the back of the wardrobe or the side of the wardrobe. Then I can cable tie my cable, the USB-C, to the white one. And that takes us across then to the section that's behind this panel over here. And also, as the crow flies, if I pull this cable out taut, my 6 metre cable now only runs to about here. Okay, drills at the ready, throat's not quite at the ready. Let's go make some holes. Time for a little bit of the drilling tool again. Could this be the most boring video in the world? Right, so in the time I've had the camera off, I've taken out, unscrewed this cable tray that ran through the top of the covers. Luckily they're not, it's not one single piece. I was able to slide one out of the way, slide this back to reveal the gap up here. And then I went and got the old wire coat hanger, and I've managed, unbelievably, it took about 5-10 minutes, maybe playing around and fishing around. I've managed to bend it in such a way that I can now see it behind this 12-volt socket. So I can see in this end, I can see here, and I can see up here. If I can join those dots, then there's every chance I'll get this cable through. But I've managed to get a hole through and pull through using one of the cable ties that pull through the cable here. Perhaps what I'll do is I'll tie string to the coat hanger, pull that through, and then I'll use the coat hanger again to try and get behind my control panel and over to here.
Yes, yeah. Well, that takes me right back to my first child. There we go, it's a boy.
We're through to this cupboard, which means I can pull as much of the cable through now as possible. And I have precisely this much left, and I've got to get all the way down to the back. One measurement made it 3 meters, another made it 4. Went online, couldn't find a 4 metre cable, could find plenty of 3 metre cables, but what a minefield it is out there for what you would think would be a simple USB-C to USB-C extension cable. Turns out I was best off buying 2 meters, but each of these cost £10 each, so that's £20 to take the cable through 3 cupboards. I'm gonna just plug it in, I think, straight out of just on the side here and plug the camera in, because there are some reviewers that sort of say these cables are great for charging phones but not for delivering video content and so on. So they are rated as 10 gigabits a second, 4K, blah 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 blah. So they're kind of like the best that I could get for the money. Show rear camera. Right, we'll leave that on for a minute and just see if there's any kind of interference, or maybe I'll start the engine just to see if it makes any difference. If not, if it looks stable, then we can run the cables around to the back, and that's almost job done. Right, this is it, the final mile. Well, it's about 3 meters. It's drill time out. Let's crack on. Okay, bigger drill. Okay, so just like it's got a little notch here for another cable, I think we're going to cut ourselves a little notch at the other end. Right, let's get this hung back up. And we'll thread it back through that hole. Oh, let's come out here. Okay, I think that's where our cable's going to run out, and we need the next one. Something large just got sucked into the vacuum cleaner. Oh, it's one of my brown plastic covers. So I'm going to opt to come back as far as here because it's not in the way of anything. It's not going to get on anyone's nerves. There we go, there it is, the Vantrue N4 Pro installed front and back in Stampy. A thing of beauty, I think you'll agree. Based on quality and price, I'd highly recommend this. What I don't highly recommend is the cheap adapter I bought. So for now I'm hardwiring it until I can find an alternative. I hope you found the video useful, and if so, send me a like. And until our next video, thanks for watching.